Welcome back to Thriller Recapped. In today's video, we will be going through a thriller action film entitled Stalingrad. The movie begins in Japan, March 2011 after the tragedy that hits Japan. International community sent help and rescue operations. A doctor talks to the survivors that are trapped under building debris, using the microphone attached to a remote. Nina is one of the survivors, describes their situation afterward. The doctor assures her that help is coming. Nina asks him to stay and just talk with her upon learning about Nina's family situation. He shares the story of his mother and her 500. The doctor starts his story in the autumn of 1942. Russian soldiers cross the Volta River. Then we see 4 soldiers planning their entry to a building and cutting the wire connected to bonds at the building. A German soldier named Captain Khan sees the incoming Russian soldiers from the river. The 4 Russian soldiers, on the other hand, successfully sneak inside the building and take down enemy soldiers. Some shootout takes place when the German soldiers fight back. Captain Gromov of the Russian soldiers is about to cut the wire of a bomb on Captain Khan. Shows up, the 2 captains fight, but Khan overpowers Gromov and he successfully detonates the bomb. The bomb set off burning and killing Russian soldiers on the shore. A soldier attacks Khan from behind, but he kills it, then leaves outside. Happens the battle of Russian soldiers against the German soldiers. Burning Russians take the front line and charges the German. There are also German planes taking on the Russians in the river. Going back into the building, we see Gromov and one of his mentioned off. Hear a noise upon checking. Gromov sees a Russian soldier named Serge hanging from the ceiling. The captain cuts the ties of Serge and asks him about the Germans. When she went off, calls him a German soldier, holds a hostage. Fortunately, Nicky off one of men sneaks behind the man and attack. Then they discover that the hostages, a woman. Afterward, another Russian soldier shows up and introduces himself as Polyakov. Together, the 5 soldiers sit with a woman. The doctor then states that the woman is her mother when she was younger, and the 5 soldiers are his father's. Morning comes, a plane crashes and wakes the woman up. She finds Gromov talking to another soldier using. He then tells her that she needs to leave or she'll die, to which she responds that she won't. The woman then asks for his canteen and leaves afterward. The woman asks for the 4 soldiers' canteen. In return, the soldiers asked for her name, to which she answers Kasha. Meanwhile, a man named Officer Krasnov introduces himself to the captain in the Germans' camp. The colonel asks Khan why he let the Russians take over the building from him. He then tells him that they should take it back. By the next day, back to the Russians. A local woman with her child enter the building. They searched for the box they're carrying, but it's only sand and dirt. The woman says they use it to make porridge and asks. The scene changes to Khan going to a place where the civilians live. He is visiting a Russian woman named Marsha, whom he feels attracted to after seeing the resemblance of the woman who is deceased. Wife Khan keeps on talking, but the 2 cannot understand each other's language. Back to the Russians. Gromov is telling others that they can't let the enemies come through when True Novel arrives and tells them about the happening in the square. In the square, the German soldiers made the civilian. Colonel Hensa then asked the one who entered the building earlier with her child if she's a Jew. Although the woman denies it, the Germans take her and her child to be burned alive. Captain Gromov asks if Shannon has a clear shot of the officer, but it's negative. Connor arrives and tries to stop it, but Colonel Henson steps in. The Russian soldiers, along with Kasha, watches. The Germans burn the mother and child alive. Kanchan begs for them to do. Angered, Gromov snatches the sniper ditch, went off and shoots the soldier with a flamethrower, and on his signal, Russian soldiers attack the Germans. A battle to death occurs upon hearing that the mortars are ready. The Germans fall back as they attack the Russians with explosives, which make the Russians retreat as well. After the battle, Tom goes to Masha. He finds herself in the corner while holding a knife. Captain Conscious snatches away the knife from her and pulls her up, revealing her hair. He then tears Masha's dress apart. Back to the Russians. Kachi is treating Nicky for Off's wound. When she recognizes his name, she then tells him that she and her mother used to go to his concerts before the war. Shut off arrives and tells Nicky for Off that Gromov is looking for him before he leaves. Katya asks him if he could sing her a psalm one day. Confused, Sharonov asks about it and Katya shows him a poster of Nicky for Off. Afterward, we see Graham Off order Nicky for Off, along with another soldier, to take down the soldiers, scavenging the plane for ammunition. The doctor then narrates Nicky for Off's backstory. Nicky for Off was a singer and a local celebrity before he enlisted himself as a volunteer. When the war started, then we see Nicky fall off easily, taking down the Germans. The scene cuts back to Khan seating in the bed while Matthias afterward shouldn't have asked catchier If she wants to learn how to shoot, then he mocks her for not telling them how she truly survived. Leaving with the Germans, then leaves triggered. Candia asks them if they want to ask her about it while crying. But no one asks a question when Cotter walks out. Serge plans to confront Vienna, but Polyakov stops it. Krasnov then tells Polyakov to come catch you down, not knowing that Gromov is listening outside afterward. We see Polyakov talking to Casio about. The doctor then narrates the Polyakov family died in Obama. Sleepy cat. You asked to sleep in his lap, reminding him of his wife that used to do the same thing. Before the scene cuts to Masha being mocked for being a fascist Trent. Then Caviar approaches Phenomena and asks him to teach her to use. Upon looking at the scope, catches spots Masha shut off, jokingly tells her to shoot her, which she didn't find funny. Katya then sees a German about to fetch water. She went off, tells her to shoot him, grow him off. Tries to stop them, but Katya already pulled the trigger, killing the German Bromov, scolds them. Budge Phenomena argues that it's a German soldier. It turns out that his family is killed by German soldiers. The doctor narrates House Runoff's family is killed by the Germans, especially his younger brother that was killed because his name was the same as Lenin. Can't you? Butson saying that she kills the soldier when enemies shoot back at them. Sure enough tries to fight back, but he is shot in the arms. The scene changes to German soldiers arriving at the civilian's place, seeing Masha and Captain Khan together. Colonel Henson mocks Captain Khan for falling for a Russian woman and failing to hold the building. Meanwhile, Gromov tells Kasia that she needed. The guys are starting to fall for her, and if she dies, everyone will fall apart. But Cassius says she wants to stay and fight with. From off his, about to decline using age as an excuse, but Catcher shows him her passport. He sees that it's her birthday, and she's already 19. The captain then leaves telling Kasia that he'll tell the others about her birthday. Outside, Serge waits for him and tells him to leave Katie all alone. Pissed, Gromov punches him and reminds him that Catch is not his afterward. We see Kasia treating Suriname's wound while they're watching the Germans prepare their weapons against. On the other hand, the civilians are being taken by the Germans to the station. Colorize and looks for Masha. He then takes a vehicle and drives in the middle of the crowd until he finds her back at the Russian Surge. Polyakov successfully ricochets a bullet to the Germans' camp, causing a domino of explosions upon celebrating. We hear the doctor narrate Surge's backstory. He's the only survivor from his unit that was tasked to defend them. Then we see context Masha to their camp where Colonel Henson greets him with a scolding. Khan swears that he will take back the building in exchange for letting Masha stay there for a while. The colonel agrees, but threatens to kill him. If he fails, the scene changes to Katya visiting a grave nearby. The doctor narrates that Casio is the only survivor, not just from her family, but from her friends and neighbors as well. And she is also the one that buried them. Meanwhile, Serge is looking for a present for her when Nikki off, telling Nikki for off his goals. He helps search and finding the bathtub that Serge is talking about in the Germans' camp. Connor voters is meant to fix the Canada. Then we see Khan encouraging his man to take the building back upon seeing the Germans. Gromov orders his men to take in physician-surgeon. Polyakov take Catch upstairs while the captain Shannon and Nikki Foroff pretend to be dead soldiers. When the German enters the building and lowers their guard upon seeing dead soldiers, the three take the opportunity to attack them, pull the COVID Surge, quickly back them up, shove, then positions in the machine gun and shoots at the enemy. The 5 soldiers successfully push the Germans away from off. Even had Khan captured, but he's distracted by fighting an enemy, allowing Khan to escape at their camp. Colonel Henson scolds Khan for failing again. He then tells him that he'll go back to the headquarters for a while. After the colonel has gone, Khan's soldier notifies him that the candidate, meanwhile from Of, goes to Casio again, telling her to leave when they luckily evade the cannon shell. Fortunately for them, the Germans' Canada stuck again to sibling them to shoot once more. Then we hear the doctor narrate Catherine Gromov's story. He is nothing but a man of war. No family, no relationship, and no home. Kachi is the first woman he cares about, same as her house became his first ever home. From off quickly crawls over to Kasia begging her to leave, but she still did, and then they kiss. Meanwhile, we also see Masha reciprocating Khan's love as they spend more time together. Afterward, the soldiers give Casio's small birthday celebration. Vicky Foroff also plays piano and sings for her. After the celebration, they give her a hot bath as a gift. Outside, the soldiers talk about their life in the war. Meanwhile, Khan promises Masha that he will take her to safety to a place where Germans north. Back to the Russians, Serge goes to Kathia and tells her that he will take her somewhere. Then they go to his previous lookout spot. He tells Kavya that he loves her, to which she responds with a smile. Then we see Khan takes Masha to the same building to hide her, promising that he will be back for it afterward. Gromov is surprised to see Polyakov in the bath. He then orders Nikifor off to look for Catch and search. The scene changes to Khan leaving the building when Masha follows. Sure enough, who's watching them through his sniper shoots Masha, and the headshot. Khan falls to his knees when he hears an explosion nearby. Meanwhile, Nikifor fights German soldiers coming his way, but Khan appears behind him and shoots him, taking him as a prisoner in their camp. Colonel Hensa praises Khan for catching a Russian soldier, but Nikiforov manages to kill the colonel before being shot to death by Khan, with Within back in command and the reinforcements arriving. They attack. The search is about to go back to the building, but Casual wants to go with him. However, he tells her to stay. He also tells her again that he loves her, to which she finally responds that she loves him, to lead by tanks in front. They shoot the building consecutively, killing Sharonov in the process. Polyakov survives the attack and manages to fight for a while, but is also killed by Khan, who's looking for Gromov. He is trying to connect to the headquarters when confines, and the two captains shoot each other until they fall. Surgerized and is about to shoot Khan, but Gromov stops him. He orders him to connect to the headquarters instead, which he successfully does. Upon connecting, he quickly asks for an airstrike in their area. After confirming their request, Surge from Gromov and come look up, waiting for their death. Before their death, Surge assures Gromov that Katya is safe and that she loves him very much. Meanwhile, Kasia watches helplessly while crying as the building crumbles to. Then the doctor reveals that he is named after his father Serge, but his mother keeps on reminding him that he has 5 fathers. Back to the present, where Nina and the others are finally rescued. She is looking for Dr. Sergei. The movie ends with Nina of German sharing a moment with Dr. Sergei, a Russian, before he leaves. Now you see this video on the screen. This is a video that YouTube thinks it's suitable for you, and in most cases they are never wrong. Click it now before it disappears. Anyway, subscribe now, and if we get to 50k likes, I will make a part 2 of this film. Until then, stay thrilled.